أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قالوا حرقوه وانصروا آلهتكم إن كنتم فاعلين. قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما على إبراهيم.
A common theme we see in the Quran is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test His prophets and the people closest to Him. And He'll test them in ways which may seem nearly impossible to get out of, right? He'll put them through difficulties that we can never imagine being in ourselves. But He'll do so for a reason. And when we look at the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam and this specific incident, just imagine you being in his shoes, being someone who believes in something that nobody else believes in. Not your friends, not your family, not your community. And they reject what you believe in so much so that they go to the lengths of wanting to kill you, to eradicate you from the face of the earth. And so imagine them building a fire that is said to have been so big that the birds couldn't fly over it for fear of being burned. And so you're sitting there and you're seeing them start this fire. You're thinking, oh, maybe they want to get a barbecue going or something, until they come to you and then they tie you up and you realize that you are actually the barbecue. And so they take you to a hilltop in order to throw you into that fire, because that's the only way that they can get you into that fire. And so imagine how you would react, what your emotions would be, what you would be saying, what you would be thinking. And then look at the story of Ibrahim, and while we aren't given any details as to how exactly Ibrahim alayhi salam reacted, we can tell how he reacted by the one thing that we are told that he did say right before he was thrown in. And right before he was thrown into the fire, it was narrated that Jibreel alayhi salam comes to him. And we all know that once Jibreel comes to the aid of a prophet or a messenger, then that's it. It's taken care of. And we would even think that this was Allah answering our prayers, Allah coming to our aid by sending Jibreel alayhi salam. But Ibrahim alayhi salam, he rejected the help of Jibreel. And he said to Jibreel and said to Allah, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah is sufficient for me, and He is the best disposer of affairs. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in response to Ibrahim saying that, right as Ibrahim is thrown into the fire, it said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. O fire, become cool and tranquil for Ibrahim alayhi salam. And so Ibrahim spends a different amount of days per different narrations, but he spends some days in the fire. And so when he comes out and he lives the rest of his life, it's narrated that he said at one point that his most peaceful and the best days of his life were the days when he was in the fire. And so what may have seemed as a moment of doom, a moment of destruction, ended up becoming the best moment in the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And we too can tap into what Ibrahim alayhi salam tapped into by truly believing that Allah is sufficient for us. And once Allah becomes sufficient for us, then He truly will become the best disposer of our affairs. Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakeel.
Listen guys, Corona or not, we are committed to continuing our quality da'wah, bringing you the services and securing the funds for this masjid and its programs, even if virtually. Make sure you hit the link below and be of those who help carry this masjid even though it's empty.